I'm front loading this so you get your answers now so you don't make any mistakes. Make sure that card, that gold card, is inside your armor of your suit, stored on your person, and then you talk to that kiosk, and then a pop-up will tell you that you're done. Do not make this mistake, and like me, and place the card up against the machine out of desperation because nothing else seems to be working. It doesn't matter if it's in your storage that's local, it won't work. It needs to be in the armor on your person. I learned this the hard way, so you don't have to. I had to find the gold card twice tonight. And this is my adventure that you're going to see while I evaluate my first impressions of the F8C, which is a fantastic ship spoiler. Once again, I'm not hiding anything here, but just don't make this mistake. And yes, it is for sale, even if you don't have the concierge 10K, 15K, all that stuff. And it is at 260 USD and 300 USD, respectively. And as a reminder, that's the base F8C, which is the only difference is the paint jobs and the interior paint technically on the executive. You will see the executive in this video. It is a really nice ship. But once you have that gold card inside your armor, not like me, and it runs away from you, then you talk to this kiosk. There will be a pop-up, and you'll see it later in the video when it does work correctly. But I wanted to put the bottom line up front here and show you what not to do. And I also discussed the in-game contest event and also what to expect if you're a concierge at those 10K and 15K. And I show all the different paints. But that's it. Enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. It's finally in. Here is the F8, and this is specifically the Executive Edition. I'll also do one in Shockwave paint as well. There is currently an event going on for a silver license and a platinum license. So a even more gold finish, or even more platinum finish if you want to go for those licenses. I'm going to start searching while I test out this ship a little bit, and probably not near Lorville. So the F8C Lightning Executive is a fully finished, as I'm searching for all the buttons,
You are clear to launch.
Online.
Is a variant that has a different interior as well as exterior. And she is a beautiful ship, I'll give her that. This is the stock loadout. I have not added or taken away anything from it. I'm not quite sure if the shark mounts are already mounted or not. It's a pleasure to finally see this in game legitimately and not have to go hunt it down off an NPC or watch a video of it, because you can get your own. And just a reminder, the F8C was just issued to all 10K backers as a reward, and then also to 15K backers in the Executive Edition, and then they also get the regular one as well with the 10K bonus. That's kind of how it works. They kind of snowball the reward levels. Additionally, if you find a gold license, which apparently is in boxes all over the place, you can then have the ability to purchase your own F8C without any of that stuff. And if you manage to find a CIG staff member and take them down in game, they will be carrying a platinum license, which will give you the F8C with LTI for free, as they phrased it on the website. It has an exclusive platinum paint job. So we now have 4 different paint jobs running around for this brand new ship, which is fine. Not the first time we've seen such an extensive amount of paint jobs, but it's just an interesting little side note. Should have left in the daytime, but it is what it is. This was a weird one. The CIG was trying to push this patch all day, basically. So we were tracking it, watching it go through the process, and it failed final earlier today. Let's see what the max speed on this thing is exiting Atmo. So, going straight up. Oh, it's got a nice bit of boost on it. Remember, this thing is stock. Wow. You can, like, just chuck it in a boost for days. And it is responding incredibly nimbly. So, I'm looking at the loadout, and I don't see the shark mouths on there. On this right side. So, I probably screwed up and don't have them mounted, and I should have. Such is life. I can test that out in the next go-around, but at the very least, I can turn around and just take a look at how this ship performs. This is my first assessment of it. And I just want to get away from Louisville. When I was on that train, there was at least 7 other players running around. All coming into the fresh batch. Now, this is still 3.20 on live. So, a lot of the issues apparently have been fixed on this. I was reading the patch notes. There were some localization fixes. There was some server changes. But, in general, 3.20 has some things that are going to be, you know, issues that you may, if you've been on the PTU and you've seen us kind of suffer through it, but some of the fixes that we've enjoyed, they're back for 3.20. So remember that. But this is a great event. And it, as I understand it, is running right alongside the mask event, which is pretty dang cool. If you have issues with some of your stuff, if you were impacted by the changes, don't forget to just log back in and see what happens. What I'm doing right now is bouncing off of a midpoint around the moon of Aberdeen, which is named after one of the Hurston family. And I am kind of just trying to see if there's something on the other side here. My goal is to not go too far, start scouting out random places, but also, no, that's the one place I don't want to go to. But I'm literally just going to go to a random spot and see if there's a box there. Which is not the most efficient way, but it's a great way to test this ship out, and who knows, maybe I'll get lucky. Be nice to be able to pick up this license, the gold license in the process. Just see what it looks like, what the process is. Because apparently it says you just take it to Astro Armada in Area 18, New Deal on Lurville, or Crusader Showroom in Orson. So it'd be nice to be able to return to New Deal on Lurville and see what happens.
Quantum drive is now
To access the ship, turn in nearest supergas. Also includes a rental, by the way. The gold one includes a 24-hour rental of the gold version of the F8C, which is a nice touch. I'm going to slow my roll, because these moons, when you get too close in the atmo, bad things can happen. Turn my quantum back on. Not to quantum, but just to see where the beacon is. This is one of the downsides of the game right now, and it's been a long-term thing, where you have to keep turning your quantum on and off to kind of give yourself a beacon to guide you into a destination that's a real small place, especially in hazy atmo like this in the dark. Kind of a combination of things. Yeah, so far, initial impressions, this ship can boost for days. It's very reasonable on its speed. As you can tell right now, I'm not using its speed, but out of fear of hitting the ground. But I'll step it up a little bit just to kind of stage this up a little bit. But yeah, in general, looks like an interesting ship. I'm gonna kick out my landing gear in case I skid out. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. So those mast systems, these arms on the sides in the lore, those were designed to stop Vanduul forces from hitting the cockpit during their attacks with like giant literal spears on some of their ships. This is what it looks like when it's in combat mode.
That makes a lot more sense. So I believe it's the F8A, which is the military variant. This is the civilianized, the F8C. But the F8A for the Reckless 909 Squadron was sitting on the showroom floor, and it was not shot like this. We were talking about it, me and Mason. And Mason, this answers the question of why it looks so different. Because the little mantle things were on the sides spread out in landing mode. That's why it looks so kind of ungainly. We were commenting on, like, it looked like it was mechanized, but we didn't really understand how or why, and how wide it goes and how narrow it goes. In the future, when there's more Atmo considerations, that may actually become a thing. Like, you need to be very careful when you activate your landing gear for this thing. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Once again, when you're on a moon with really weird atmospheric effects, you got to be careful where you go. And I am currently looking. I probably overshot it. There it is. Hopefully I don't test the defenses of this thing. I don't think this is a site that attacks you. I'll sure find out real quick. Those nice headlights. Preeminent superiority fighter gets released. I study everything about it, but it's combat props on its first flight. But that's how I am with ships. I like to explore everything about them and how maybe not practical they are. I'm not going to leave my headlights on. I see some boxes. I'm going to go check out those dang boxes. Okay. Let's see if I can turn the engine off, but leave the shields up.
Engines offline.
There we go. Whenever somebody just got issued a brand new combat ship, all they want to do is shoot at everything that moves. At least make it a hard target. I'm looking at that survival estimate. Come on. I gotta get back to the ship. That survival estimate isn't working right. The timer isn't ticking down correctly. Look at that temperature. Get back in. So, just to review, the boxes did not function correctly. They probably haven't for a while. It's just my luck. And, let's go on and get. So, we gotta fire the engines back up, kick some dust, and, get off this rock.
Online. Takeoff complete.
I picked the hot rock. It is a beautiful, beautiful ship. This is just testing its vertical ascent, literally just on secondary thrusters, not even using its mains. And this is it in action, using its mains. Let's put it to full thrust. Look at how long that afterburner can last. Okay, it's maxing out at... Whoa, wait. I can get a little bit more out of it. Once we left the atmospheric effects of that, the small atmospheric effects of the moon, you can see it's hitting 1337. Very elite. Nice touch, CIG. So there's your answer. Max velocity on this thing is 1337 in combat mode / flight mode. And it is a beautiful piece. It is a beautiful, beautiful ship. Let's see its guns in action a little bit. There's its primaries. There they are in action. Secondaries. And then, of course, you can see its missile outlay. Now, if I go back inside the ship, I can see I have 48 decoys, 5 noise, as they call it, which is your chaff. So that's a pretty nice little loadout. I can see that I have 8 size 2 missiles. You can see those ignites running right there. Apologies for the noise in the background. But yeah, not a bad little loadout for stock loadout on the F8C without any of the add-ons that have been offered. You're looking at 4 Badgers and 2 Tarantula 2s and 2 Tarantula 3s. It's a serious loadout. And once again, have the 8 size 2 missiles. So you have the Ignite 2s sitting right there. And flares and chaff for days. Well, at least flares for days. So I think this is an interesting ship. I think that it's not gonna change the balance of power completely, but I think this is a good, well-rounded ship. And I think it remains to be seen is this going to replace the F7s? And I'm got to tell you, I think if I was looking pretty hard, especially if you're already able to get your hands on one of these, I would be very curious to see what the limitations are compared to the F7s. I think mainly price is going to be the biggest balancing factor. And don't forget, you can always pick things up in game. Let's see what Ariel's got.
Quantum drive is now on.
I like the trim. I'm a big fan of two-tone, by the way. So this Executive Edition with the gold trim and everything, I hope that the other ones, when I check those out, I hope that they have the same kind of two-tone trim, like as the Shockwave, for example, and whatnot. But something tells me the other paints won't be internal, so hopefully it's just baked in two-tone, so to speak, like just a black trim or something around the items. At least a black and a light gray or something would be good. So, coming from another moon, I'm not exactly putting myself exactly on the Lorville path, so that should help me a little bit with staying away from other players to a certain extent. Obviously, pinging around would be nice, but I'm just kind of winging this.
Quantum drive is now on.
These are extremely short ranges, by the way, for this quantum drive. If we look at the modules, if we go into, but you can always cheat, and you can do it right here. And power, look at items. You got the polar coolers, you've got the cannons, you've got your thrusters.
Quantum drive is now off.
Sorry for the spin, I'm just kind of rolling through that screen down there while I'm doing this. You can see the gimbal mount for your weapon systems. Anyway, let's go scout a box. And don't worry, I will put this through combat jobs. But at the moment, I just really want to get my hands on this gold pass to be able to get pricing and, once again, get an idea of the flow of how this works. And does the rental work, etc., etc. That's really what I'd like to do right now. Sometimes I have to pick my battles. And sometimes it isn't battles you pick. I like that visual acuity, but aside from it telling you there's landing gears deployed, I like that the arms physically leave your viewpoint, like when you go into landing mode. That may annoy some people, that you have these big old landing gears on your sides. I think you'll get used to it. It's like only slightly in your periphery, unless you're turning your head to try to see what's going on. It does give you a small block of your view, but I think this thing makes up for it in every other direction. So... And of course, you've always got your spin to win on everything else. But yeah. Oh. Started getting into showing you advanced cameras and such. And that was a bad move trying to land. Let's just get us on the ground in one piece. And we'll worry about all that. Going an advanced camera to make sure I don't hit a light pole. Okay.
Landing complete.
I'm not going to bother turning off the engines here.
Takeoff complete.
I'm sure it'll kick up something, but I'm sitting on a pad of concrete. Okay. Man, these places. And that bug not telling me my survival estimate really is impacting me greatly right now. There we go, our first actual crate. Oh, there it is. Bingo. And I'll get myself an MRE, get myself a bottle of water. A silk zoot suit. How about that? Okay, so I have a thing going on here. So the clothing drawer, I need to get this on my person. So I need to exit this, reopen my inventory. Oh. Okay. So I gotta recheck what exactly this thing does. Find a gold license and redeem it at any rental kiosk in Stanton. You're kidding me right now. I forgot to bring any piece of armor. Is there any loot in that box that's armor? Oh. Give me that thing back. Okay. I think I can store it on the ship. If I was more organized, that'd be dangerous. Apparently, it's not instant. You have to take the little card back to the kiosk in order to proc it. Something tells me I either lucked out greatly or they've made these very easy to get. Okay, all right. Let's also throw the zoot suit in there. Sure, why not? Look at that level of storage. And hopefully I can get in the pilot seat before I die. Because I have no idea what my survival estimate is. Because that glitch is there. Okay. So now our engine was already on. Oops.
Takeoff complete.
I really like this ship. I think it's a solid ship so far. For my 5 minutes, I've probably, 20 minutes I've been playing it. And despite my best efforts, apparently I can figure out this gold license stuff pretty quick. Do I think you're going to be able to take down a CIG employee that's playing the game to get one of those platinum licenses? I don't know. But something tells me that it would be a good idea to group up. Get a couple friends together
and make a deal like, look, if we do manage to find a CIG employee rocking probably an F8C themselves, or a group of them or something, we'll take one down, and whoever gets lucky enough to loot it gets to keep it. And remember, they went out of their way to say that there's basically a beacon that's placed in space, and it tracks you like a bounty style beacon, giving your position away, and any player can come after you for that platinum license. So a group of friends would then be able to protect you. So I think that would be a wise move. Is there going to be some amazing, crazy story of like one random person who lucked out and managed to bring it all the way back by themselves? Probably. Is that likely? No. Are you going to be able to get more done together? Yeah. Or are you going to elevate your chance, your small chance of it actually working out considerably? So, just some food for thought. But I wish you luck in your search for your gold licenses and your platinum licenses. I do like that the gold license does not require combat to go after it, unless you run into a player or they decide to engage on you in these places. And it also could be a group activity. You can go from point to point and go hunt it down, or just run bunker missions. And it seems like it's on the loot table. I just found it in just a footlocker in a random place. I wasn't even looking that hard. But still, it's a cool challenge, and it's a neat effect. So... well, I'm sure there's probably some early bird who already beat me there by a couple minutes. I like completing these myself and experiencing it and being able to talk about the full process of going through these new adventures on the game. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe, all that nonsense. And if you like lore stuff, I do that on the separate. I also have a feed that focuses on all my content, etc., etc. That's it. I'm off my soapbox, promise. And into Loreville. So hopefully the card is inside the external storage of this ship, and all 250k of it.
Quantum drive is now off.
Although I'd have to take a bit more of a look at what kind of sizing that 250k meant. On the vehicles, for example, you got like micro SCU and all that nonsense. So you got to like really do the math for a minute. It's not that complicated, but you just have to be mindful that like it might not be as big as you obviously think it is. And obviously, if it is 250k, that's a placeholder. I'm looking for the wording right there that says Teasa Spaceport. I can see the lines, like the text in the air. It's the only place that has floating text in Hurston Dynamics. Taking caution not to hit the Hurston Dynamics tower that's off to my left. I'm starting to slow my roll a little bit. My character's starting to feel the G's coming into port. But I would prefer to come in a little slow, kind of finesse my my landing a little bit. I'm starting to think of my ATC.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
It's a pretty miserable night of weather out here. Loreville is, after all, a pretty hazardous place in the air. It's very smog-like, and it's still nighttime here, interestingly. Okay, one of the dreaded vertical loading type locations. Let's get our landing gears out.
Landing gear deployed. Warning, you are leaving a safe zone.
This thing is a little snappy forward. So I just want to warn you guys on that one. That if you are used to, like, I spent a lot of time in the 325A and 350R, and it's snappier than them. Like, I'm not saying it's super fast acceleration forward. It's more of just snappy. It's got that, it's hard to describe. It's got like a whipping effect where it's slow and then all of a sudden it wants to go fast in the W key. So just be wary of that. And sorry to my friends that are into HOTAS. I'm not quite sure what to offer as the what I would suggest is, I guess it would be the forward throttle.
Landing complete.
It's a little weird, that landing, but that's I'll put that on I'll blame me for that. But yeah, the it has a little bit of a snap forward, snap back thing going on for a second. Okay. Moving that card to what hopefully is the safety of local. Although, we'll see if that's truly safe or not. And, yeah, so if you're... I could have grabbed a piece of armor out of my local and then came over, but, you know, it is what it is. I should have thought of that. Okay. It is quite a looker. It is quite a looker. CIG really pulled it together today. I think this was a very interesting birthday for the Star Citizen project, and it's wonderful to see it celebrated on the PU where it belongs. Right here with the community. So, what I'm doing is going back to Teasa Spaceport. The rental kiosk is straight in front of me. But I'm going to dock my F8C first so it doesn't get put away and I get a fine or some silliness.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
And plus, I don't want to block an active flight bay. For the record, the executive is underneath the regular one, and there's no mention on this little thing here. But when I went to make it deliverable, it made sure to say that it was the executive edition. So the top one is the non-executive in the ASOP. But it doesn't have it listed yet. So I stored it. I also retrieved the other one. Now, this is the rental. Find a gold license and redeem it at any rental kiosk in Stanton. So what I'm right now looking for is... Let's see, come on. Okay, maybe I have to have it on my person at that very moment when I access the kiosk, or maybe I have to have it out and standing there. Is it like treated like a credit card? I can't use the sorting features because there is no search yet. I'm sure there will be, but I can't use the sorting feature because I don't know what category this card would go into. I really have no idea. Maybe I should just shoot for it and see what happens. So, like, the other section is, like, where my Banu cube is, that kind of stuff. I guess that would be put in other. Might also be utility. There it is. I don't trust that. So
what I want to do is click carry, like directly click carry. Maybe inspect. There it is. Okay. My goodness. This thing is nerve-wracking. So inspect doesn't do anything. I just feel like if I place this on that thing, I don't feel like it's gonna do anything. But yeah, it feels like it's not actually connected to do this. What in the world? Find a gold license and redeem it at any rental kiosk in Stanton for a 24-hour F8C rental. I don't want to put it on there and watch it disappear. So let me see what happens. It fell through the floor. Ah. So we're gonna go find another gold ticket, but the deal here is that these golden license. I've got the gold. The golden licenses. What we're dealing with here is, hang on, let me make sure the paint's on this thing first, and weaponry too. Notice it's connotated here versus the Executive Edition versus the regular lighting. And as a reminder, the difference in these two should only be the liveries. And the Exec Edition has a unique variant, mainly just to identify itself as like a status symbol, and also it has a golden interior. Weapon-wise, looking at those size 2s, we're looking at those size 2s already mounted. This is the Shockwave, the 10K one. Maelstrom Expedition, Schweiz. Let's take a look at the Maelstrom Expedition. And the Executive Edition can do the Shockwave livery, it looks like. It has an exterior paint slot. So if you want to put the gold paint or the platinum paint, it looks like you can on the executives. It's just... let me pull it. Let me just for the heck of it, just for science. Let's pull the Shockwave off of the regular one. Put it on the executive. I just pulled it. I gotta accept. I think I gotta accept the change. Unequip. Save changes and equip. F8C Lightning. Exec. Okay. Save changes and equip. This will be interesting.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
So the lower one of the two is the
Your
exec.
vehicle has been delivered.
Let's go
to
get
the
another
base.
golden ticket. I gotta tell you, I really do appreciate these events. All different kinds, whether they're PvP, PvE content, just hunt, seek, and finds. I'm appreciative, very appreciative of these events. I think in-game events in general are good for the game, good for the soul, and I'm glad that there's nice big windows for these events, especially building the hype for CitizenCon. The F8s in general are an interesting group. Like I mentioned before, or alluded to at least, the F8 is the variant that was added as the preeminent dogfighter against the Vandal. So I'm not going to start taking off armor in front of you, it's just throwing some rust gear. But basically, the UEE Navy was finding that they were having some serious problems dealing with the Vandal, and in general, the Vandal were not being very nice, very friendly folks, and they had to handle that. So the F8s were basically taking a lot of the lessons from the F7 series, specifically the F7A and all its variants, all the way through. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was variants for the F8, but that's a topic for another day. And trying to create like a supremacy fighter that learned a lot of the lessons from the mistakes fighting the Vandal with the F7s and older ships, and also the Gladiuses and such, your light fighters. But particularly, a lot of the lessons from the F7 were brought directly over to the F8. Now, I will note that the F8C, in all of its paint variants, its executive variant, etc., are very, very specific. They are not able to carry the same quality of weaponry as the military variants can. Literally, the amount of damage they can put out is not the same. In very specific terms, the F8A is not the same as the F8C, just to be crystal clear.
Thank you, and please visit again.
It has a very nice frontal profile, but when you look from the sides, it's pretty big. I mean, all that stuff has to live somewhere, right? Nice clear day. I am guessing these gold licenses are pretty easy to find. And once again, if you do find one, just sit on it. Unless you hear otherwise directly from CIG or from people physically telling you it's been quote fixed or whatever, just hang on to it. Don't physically take it to a rental kiosk. Like me and place it on it. It is quick. It is quick. And looking at the signature on this thing, it's got pretty big thermal and observable and such, but its EM is actually not too bad on its size. Look there at its stats. Actually, its EM is pretty big, but. Let's see where we can throw this thing. Looks like it's still set on that route. Yep, it was. So, let's see if we can... Let's go over to Ida. I don't think we went there yet. Nice little quantum kick-in effect. But it's still rocking a lot of gold on this build. It's already giving me the out of quantum warning.
Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now on.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. When you jump in it, whether you're renting, buying, whether it's a reward, whatever way you get your hands on this thing, jumping on our friends, whatever. Just note that it's a little bit snappy on the W key. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm just actually I'm really far away.
Landing gear deployed. Landing gear raised.
Yeah, I'm still 15k altitude. Now I don't trust that 100%. You know, you got valleys and such, and rifts and giant craters and everything else on these dang moons. But if I can get down to like 5k or so. It's this weird balance between trying to quickly get into places in this game and being a lawn dart.
Landing gear deployed.
This is what I mean. Places can kind of creep up with you even with good graphics and good rendering distances. Yeah, that W key is really... it's so much thrust forward that it like overwhelms the auxiliary thrusters. Like you can see it, like the little thrusters in the front are just... It's very, very, very... I would not be shocked if people start saying it's like a drag racer. Like the old school 350R before they changed it up a little bit. Okay. I really hope it doesn't have the weird windstorm effect like the C2s and M2s get. I'm okay if the wind's impacting my ability to run or something very quick, but I hope it doesn't pick my ship up and flip it over or something silly. Couldn't get that lucky, could I? Well, that's a nice finish on a Mirage multi-tool, though. Cool. I'll take that. But I couldn't luck out and get a... Bad little loot hole, though. Gravity plus windstorm. Good old Ida. Okay, I changed to Magda because Ida was fished out. And I am now moving over here. Getting my landing gears ready. Doing the fast.
Deployed.
I'm gonna call this the hybrid move, where you start slowing your roll. Looks like there's already players here. Alright.
Landing gear raised. Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Okay, so I think I checked Perlman already. Let me get that off my list here. Oh, I checked Han. Okay. I think. So, let me drop back down and hit Perlman. It's one of the interesting things about moons that tend to be smaller ones. You can kind of navigate the whole dang thing from one OM point for the most part. It's a very graceful ship. Spin this around as soon as I get control again. There we go. Once again, I use the quantum beacons to tell me where the location is of the target, and not that I'm actually trying to use quantum to get there. Looks like a lot of people chose Lorville as their starting location on this server. A shocking amount. I thought Orison would be more common. I was hoping it would be less common to use
Landing gear
Lorville.
deployed.
I was wrong. Coming in a little too hot. But luckily those thrusters are really doing their job. And just a tiny bit of turn and burn probably set me straight here.
Landing complete.
Lands like a duck on a lake in a weird way, in some way. Or a helicopter is probably a more reasonable thing. Hey, I've got a real survival estimate here. The timer's actually kind of doing something. It's a nice touch. You can see it's handling the wind pretty well. It's nothing to sneeze at, actually. Arrow legs are actually not bad setup. Right this minute. Bingo. There it is. On another very simple white box. With some actual not too bad other loot, but none of this matters to me. I just wanted to get my card back. So twice in the span of about an hour of effort, I was able to get these cards. And you can too. I think the first day, don't be frustrated if you have some very contested area to get around. I think things will stabilize as people get a hold of these things. They are clearly common. And just remember, if you're finding loot and you're not finding the card, it is highly likely people are doing the exact same trick as us, where they're literally just going through and grabbing the card and leaving the other loot. So try a different moon, like I did. Now I just have to get back to Lorville in one piece.
Raised.
I can see a player coming in below me. I really don't want to deal with him.
Quantum drive is now on.
Because I've got precious cargo. For the second time tonight, I've got the golden ticket. And I don't want to lose this one.
Quantum drive is now off.
Sorry about that. I actually did a big lore read earlier tonight for fun, but sometimes they really throw my voice out. So normally I can do karaoke pretty well. Not tonight.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Oops. That was my mistake, not the ship.
Quantum drive is now on.
Finger off the B key and let it do its job.
Quantum drive is now off.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some blowback until people get a hold of these rentals and get to pick these up that don't have them already given to them as rewards. I wouldn't be surprised if players attack these things, testing them out to see what they can do. When you're doing this search, you might not want to be using the F8C when you're by yourself. But your mileage may vary. I haven't had anybody, other than locking me up to, I guess, check out the ship or whatever. I haven't had any issues. And again, I didn't go looking for trouble.
Quantum drive is now off.
So yeah, first impressions. Very interesting ship. Sorry I didn't get some combat with it in these videos if you're watching this on opening night. But really nice ship. I will mention that I think that this is going to be one of those things that's still sinking in. I mean, like, I just don't know how often I'm going to be using it. And beautiful Hurston Dynamics Tower. There's Teasa. And I think that the legacy of this ship is just starting. We finally have it in backers' hands. And I do appreciate that there is a way to...
Warning, you are leaving a safe zone.
Okay. I do think that I do think it was a good idea to have a method for people to earn these and also buy them. I think it's a little. I don't think it's going to be very easy to get your hands on that platinum card at all. And I hope that beyond this event, which unfortunately I don't think it will be, but I hope beyond this event there's other times where they bring it out, where they
Please
start
proceed to
breaking out
assigned
backer
landing bay.
platinum cards, because it's going to be extremely tight trying to get those cards. Except at, like, you know, events where CIG staff are willing to do duels and people hunt them down, etc., during this event. But like afterwards, it's going to be a lot of people hotly contesting it. The entire server is going to be beaconing to your position. So you may luck out. You may have a dead server, but I just my instinct is CIG will not do it on a dead server. They will purposely pick servers with at least 75 people on board to make it, quote, fun, end quote. You know. What is it warning me about this time?
Landing gear deployed.
This build's a little touchy on the warnings.
Warning, you are leaving a safe zone.
Once again, the W key has a little bit too much whip in it. But it's a satisfying acceleration this ship has. And I mean, you can see the main thrusters are just ridiculously overkill on the back of this ship. Might be a little bit of a tally in a weird way.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Oh, an interesting ship. Once again, if you can't get your heads on one, hit me up in game. Believe it or not, I talk to everybody. I don't have chat on when I'm recording whenever possible, because people say silly things sometimes. But I'm certainly available via Discord, and I talk to everybody. I know that's a shock, but I still have people to this day. Can't believe that. It's a thing. And I'll gladly hook you up with an F8C to go fly around in and check it out if you can't get your hands on a rental. And if you want to earn it yourself, we can go fly around and find your gold card.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
I don't think these should be hidden away. I don't think that these unique and weird and wonderful ships should be something that is hidden away and only a few people can have access to them. It just doesn't sit well with me. Okay, anyway, I'm going to keep it inside my armor this time, and because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to go back to the ship rental kiosk. There is the answer. You have received an F8C rental for 1 day and can purchase the ship. Okay, boy, okay, so there's your answer. Put it in your armor like a normal person, and then talk to the kiosk. You don't have to click anything in the kiosk. It's just there. And it does not appear to even be added to the list. Now, let's see what it looks like with the rental.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
There's the rented model.
Welcome.
There you go. Just gets listed, added to the list.
Please visit us again.
Now, let me add that Shockwave. Might as well do the Shockwave color, too. So I'm going to pull that off of the executive livery. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to put the Shockwave on back onto the normal one. So that's the Shockwave livery on the traditional Lightning. Okay. Now let's see this rented
Welcome
one.
to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
So many F8Cs. This is out of control. I love it.
Well, please visit us again. Goodbye.
Okay, so let's see which one this one has. Or not. I guess because it's a rental, I can't play with it? Question mark?
Welcome.
Or is it still
to
being
the
delivered
ASOP
or
Vehicle
glitched
Retrieval
out?
System.
Oh, okay.
Your vehicle has been delivered.
Alright, Hangar 3 is where the rental is. Let's go take a look at the rental. This is fascinating. As a reminder, put armor on, put the card in the armor, and then just walk over to the kiosk and talk to it. That is the correct pathway to use the gold cards. And I'm assuming that's how the platinum cards also work. But you have to go to Astra Armada or New Deal. You have to actually go to the store and talk to that kiosk, I think it says, for those. And reminder, you have to do all that while people are trying to hunt you. So this is the model. This is the one without the paint. This is the rental right now. Let's take a look at the interior real quick. You can see the interior is all one color. But there is a little bit of two-tone, or at least that's an effect in my brain. At least it looks like gray and black. Just not the way I like it to be. All right, and let's go take a look at the Shockwave real quick too. I do not see the gold paint on that rental, by the way, which is a shame because I'd like to be able to test the gold paint and see what it looks like.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Okay, so let's actually properly put the Shockwave livery back on this. It's equipped. Okay, cool. So let's get back on here.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
And actually look at the
Your
Shockwave
vehicle
paint
has
in
been
all its
delivered.
glory on the ship it's supposed to be coming with. Okay. Look inside. The interior is all black. The little bits of gray. This is the Shockwave paint. So it clearly adds a nice metal effect to it. It does not have the interior effects of the Executive, So the Executive carries that interior effect on the only the Executive Edition, and then you can put the Shockwave paint on the Executive if you want as well. It remains to be seen what the gold and the platinum looks paint liveries look like. I don't have those yet, but this is how the Shockwave paint looks, and I actually think this paint looks really nice. The Executive looks very, very more modest and more toned down, and I do love the look of the interior of the cockpit, and I love the fact I can put these paint on the Executive, because I probably will do that often, because this thing looks very nice, and that combination's pretty dang cool. But yeah, this is a beautiful looking ship in all of its different methodologies of being put together, and all the paints. I'm going to continue to put it through its paces, but this is where I'm going to wrap up this one. Put in the comments if you'd like me to test certain things about the ship. I don't know, maybe I'll put it on a racetrack, or just tell me that's a dumb idea. But yeah, obviously the next stage is going to be combat. I just don't have it in me tonight to put it through its paces and watch the poor thing blow up a couple times. For those who don't know, I can chain contracts and continuously do them, and I will power through them no problem.
Welcome
for
to the ASOP vehicle
all
retrieval
afternoon
system.
if I want, when I have the time. It's unfortunately in the middle of the week, and this patch was released in the middle of the night, so it's kind of a weird one for me. But yeah, the F8C Lightnings are in the game, available, and you don't need to be a reward member at concierge levels, crazy levels, to get your hands on one. You know, I think at this price point they're pretty good, and it's pretty interesting. For the record, if you do manage to get a platinum card somehow, and you manage to get back to the Armistice, you know, obviously people aren't supposed to be able to attack you, but I'd still be wary and go straight here. Looks like 2 players right there hanging out. But this is the kiosk I expect them to use. This one here. Probably same deal. Have the card in your armor, run over here, use the kiosk. That's what I expect. Yeah, that's it.